we go.
Okay.
Welcome everyone to the March 2nd. I'll call this March 2nd Energy and Climate Action Committee meeting to order. This meeting will be video recorded and broadcast over local channel 8 and through the town website at www.eastham-ma.gov. So thank you all for reassembling after our nasty week last week. The primary purpose for today is to go through our comments document. So we'll get right to that and try to get through that fairly succinctly. We'll do a quick around the horn. I'm Tom McNellis. So I'll just go around as I see here. Olaf
Olav Hegland.
and Roberta
Roberta Longley.
and John
Hey everybody, John Boyney.
and Shayna. Glad to see you, Shayna, here.
Shayna Brogan with the town of Eastham.
Thanks for joining. And we have a guest, Kathy, and our liaison with the
Part-Time Residents Association, Kathy Daw. And
right.
by the way, whoever I read all these comments, but whoever put them together, congratulations on, making the point. So thank you.
Good. So we'll go through those in just a moment. So no other members of the public here, so I guess we'll no other public comment. Shayna, I'm going to give you a shot since I know you can't make it next week. Is there anything you wanted to convey to the committee for March?
We are having the startup testing meeting for the EV charging stations next Thursday. So hopefully they'll be up and running shortly thereafter.
Yes.
And then just the only other thing for this month is I heard back from the Massachusetts chapter of the International Dark Sky International. And he agreed to give a virtual presentation. So we're working on March 31st at 6 o'clock, which is a Tuesday. So that's tentative. I'm going to email Kayla, see if she can put together a meeting poster. And so I'll let you know and I'll send you the info as soon as I have
Very good. Fantastic.
What is that, by the way, Shayna? The Black Sky?
So it's an organization that promotes the reduction of light pollution from outdoor lighting sources and also reducing energy use in general from outdoor lighting sources.
Cool. All right. Thank you.
So Shayna, I'm going to ask my usual question, which is, do you think this will be on Zoom, or this is or there a video of it that I can subsequently make available to the part-time residents?
Yes. Yeah, it will be a virtual meeting, so anybody can go.
Perfect.
And hopefully we can get it recorded and posted afterwards too.
Excellent. So when you have the information, if you would send that to me, that would be super. I can put it on our website.
Definitely.
Okay, and I'll just put a quick note in, which I think is pertinent to our set of comments today. I was at the Strategic Planning Committee meeting today, and we talked a little bit about the Climate Action Plan. They are planning to go to the Select Board in June timeframe to do an update. Remember, the strategic plan is a living document or a rolling update document kind of thing. They are interested in meeting with us prior to that. This would be sometime after the Select Board decision on adopting the plan. And they've somewhere between that and their June presentation to the Select Board. So what they are asking is that we provide a list of what we think are the most pertinent and important items that they should consider for elevating, I guess is kind of how they put it, to the strategic plan. So just something to keep in mind for the future. That was their their requests, that we would rank them and propose our top priority items to go into the strategic plan. And also a note that Jackie will be attending and presenting at our next meeting, and talking about the tool that they use to track the strategic planning actions. All right. Okay. With that, what I thought I would do is bring up the document, which was in the meeting packet, and kind of go through each section to see if there's any comments. I wasn't going to read it line by line unless anyone wants to get more clarity on a section or has questions. So if that sounds like a good way to move forward on this smartly, I'll get that rolling. Okay. So let me just make sure I can share my screen here. Yes. Okay. So I probably need to make that bigger, right? Is that viewable by everyone? You want that larger? It's okay? All right.
Yeah.
Very good. So the first page is just the letter to the commission. I just gave a thank you to the commission, and then fairly perfunctory, just providing the set of comments. Any thoughts, questions on that? Okay. And then what I did is try to synthesize all the comments, and much thanks to everyone who went through in some nice detail. There were a set of items that I put into an overarching comments section. And in some cases, in each of the subsections, I put some overarching comments, but I tried to organize them in a way that the commission could go through them fairly succinctly. And as I said, what I thought I would do, they did, as I mentioned in the email, they did give us an extension on submission of the comments. So I asked for the end of this week, just in case we couldn't get the meeting going today. I'll try to get this in once the committee is all good with this. I'll get this in as quickly as possible. All right, so in the first item, overarching comments on technical language, any questions on that? Okay. There are a couple of areas below that where folks made specific comments that I brought those up again, but what I was hoping is that they would go through, and I did talk to Helene that they're going to give this to the full document to another staff member, kind of a fresh set of eyes approach to go through and proofread in one voice the whole thing. Okay, the next area is the reader guide section of the document. Any thoughts, questions, comments on that set? Roberta?
Yeah, this is a small thing. I went through what you sent us and looked at the draft again today, so it was fresh in my mind. And I just noticed that under 2.1 key elements, it says in this third bullet, I do believe it's the fourth bullet you're referring to.
Okay.
So just double check that, if you will.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. And the other thing is I just wanted to have a brief conversation about 2.2 collective actions, and just wanted to get a sense of the committee's feeling about the draft's use of these letters for the reader to, for example, it describes an action that a person could take regarding climate. And then there's a parentheses C1, C12. I guess in this, we're proposing that they provide some kind of chart for what that means. My feeling is that this is so early on in the reading process that I wonder if we might even suggest that they eliminate those letters and numbers entirely the the prose, from the narration, only because I don't understand how it really is going to work for the reader, if you know what I'm saying. So just want to have that conversation with you all and your thoughts on that.
Thoughts?
Mhm.
And I assume what they're trying to do is cross-reference for people who want to go look at the details. But
Right.
I don't remember, did they
Yeah.
provide paragraph and section numbers? I'm not sure that they did.
Well, currently, I don't really see any understanding or any interpretation of what C equals, C12, C4. If you're just beginning to read the plan, it's very early on in the narration. And it's, to me, as a reader, I mean, I understood it because I'm familiar with the plan, but if a person is just reading this, what could C or B or E possibly mean?
And I guess I tried to capture your suggestion in this first sentence, given, an explanation of that. Is that, are you thinking we should change that suggestion or make it
Uh,
stronger or,
well, or maybe add, or just eliminate it entirely if there isn't any way of making it have it make sense to people. If it just seems to me too much of a struggle,
mm,
just
oh, I see.
why not just take it out?
Mm.
So it's a possibility to think about. So I just wanted to throw that
Anyone,
out there.
anyone else have thoughts? Do we want to do that?
I'm trying to revisit it here in real time just to get some context here. So this is okay. All right, collective action. Right. Um, yeah, I see what you mean. So I see your point, Roberta. Um, yeah, they either need a sentence that says, here's what's in parentheses in this upfront summary, something that explains what those things are, why they're there, or drop them. Because if you drop them, I don't think you're not losing anything in terms of understanding. And I don't think you're losing anything in terms of processing the document as people will read through it. I don't know. But I guess I would ask them to do either one of those things would be my judgment. Either some explanatory text right up front, even in boldface, or strike the references. Would either of
Some,
those courses of action be satisfactory to you, Roberta, or would you
Yeah,
do you really think we
yeah,
should?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we're just asking them to take another look to see if this makes sense to be including early
Right.
on, especially in the document.
do we want to just say eliminate them? Do we lose anything if we eliminate them?
Um,
Well, it gives them a little bit more flexibility to think about it. If they feel that they can make this easy for the readers with a cross-reference,
Hmm.
fine. But maybe they'll think, "Ah, this is just too complicated," and maybe they'll decide that it makes more sense just to
Okay.
eliminate it.
the closest that they come is on page 7 on the right-hand side. They say, consider the following collective and individual actions, many of which link to specific strategies within the climate action plan. So that phrasing is an allusion to the C 2.2, C 2.1 stuff in parentheses, but it could be made even more emphatic.
Yeah,
Um,
I did see that reference, but again, to the person who is first reading this
mhm.
document, it
Right.
doesn't Still doesn't make much sense.
It doesn't jump out at you either.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did notice that they hot linked it so that if you click on it in the PDF, it will take you to that section. So there is some value there, I suppose.
Okay.
Okay. Does this cover it, Roberta?
Yes,
Okay.
in my opinion.
Okay. Very good. Other thoughts on the reader guide section?
No.
Okay. Let's run into the introduction section. It's really just that one 3.1 item.
That is regional. Oh, I see. All right.
Yeah, that particular one I threw in, it was the at town meeting reference popped up into the middle of a discussion of the Cape Cod Climate Action Plan. So that seemed a little nebulous to me as to what they meant.
3.1, your suggestion is good, I think.
All right, local planning. Just 2 items in here. Thoughts, questions?
Not really quite sure about whoever put this in here. 4.1. I'm not exactly sure what you're asking them to change it to. I was a little unclear about what you're asking.
Oh, that was mine, I believe. So, in the, I believe that was in the timeline,
Yeah.
where they didn't reference the decarb roadmap or the zero emission vehicle policy, which has already been adopted. Yet they seem to be showing all of 2025.
I noticed that they haven't actually used the year 2025 on that timeline. And I don't know if they're going to have a room because it's kind of tight at this point, just graphically. But I'm pulling it up.
Page around, we're on page 13. Yeah, this is the
Right.
timeline. It says these are
Yeah.
the plans that it's built on, but it doesn't
Mm.
acknowledge that that was already done.
Would we suggest that for that very far on the right, fuel efficient vehicle policy instead reads 2025 decarbonization roadmap and the zero emission vehicle policy, if they can fit it in?
Yeah, because in essence that supersedes the fuel efficient vehicle policy or amends it. And I just saw, I guess that's what now that you mentioned that was what I most triggered off of.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
It was
yes.
very
Fuel efficient
confusing.
vehicle is not as relevant as zero emission vehicle
Yeah,
policy.
exactly,
Correct.
exactly.
So it could say 2025 decarbonization roadmap and zero emission vehicle policy. How about that? Does that
That's a good
make
point.
sense?
It
Yeah.
looks like it would fit.
Mhm.
Or at least to change that to the zero emission vehicle. Yeah. Um, so maybe we don't need the as of date clarification, but really the problem, now that you mention it, let's see. How about,
Yeah, just the second half of that point that you make there.
You want them to add it to the timeline. You want to
Right.
replace, it's a replace statement on the timeline.
yeah, and that was, what did they say now? It's fuel efficient
Fuel
vehicle.
efficient, yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
You should say replace. Right? You're not revising it, you're replacing it. Right?
Now, do we want to
Recommend
to,
replacing the fuel efficient vehicle policy
Yeah.
reference.
okay.
with 2025.
Oops, I lost something.
Decarbonization roadmap.
How's that?
Yeah.
I'll just say reflecting. Well, no, I think they know that those were adopted. Okay. I like that. Thank you. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay. And then the other was this item. Unfortunately, couldn't join today, but this was his recommendation on page 14. And that was paragraph 2 in here. Let me make it a little bigger so we can see that.
So is this the distinction that he's drawing attention to, is that pretty important to distinction to make in this at this point?
Well, that's a good question.
Well, I guess my opinion is that there's plenty of verbiage in this plan as it is, and I don't really know if adding another paragraph such as
Right.
this really adds much in terms of
Yeah, I don't disagree with you.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, one take that I have on this is really about what can we control? You know what I mean? And maybe that's where this comes down to the local or control or influence, which is harder to do with people who pass by.
Yeah. I think you'll see some areas down in the transportation section where he tries to break that out a little bit. And maybe this was to pre-reference that,
Right.
but the two are so far apart in the document that I don't think we lose anything by not putting this in at this point of the game.
Mhm.
All right. So if
Very.
uh,
Shana's got a hand up.
yeah, Shayna.
The only suggestion I have would be if you wanted to keep it, you could just include that last sentence because it seems like he's just trying to get at if it's not really addressed in that paragraph or that section at all, just clarifying that the plan is only focusing on the vehicles within East Tam.
Let's see, what did they say? On-road vehicles. I mean,
Didn't talk about it at all.
the statement here is correct. It includes emissions from on-road vehicles. Now, yes, it happens that some of those are East Ham vehicles, some of those are pass-through vehicles, but I think the statement is totally correct here.
Should it be lawn equipment?
Yes,
Yeah.
that in fact, when I was talking to Helene, I mentioned that as an example, and she goes, "Oh, let me fix that right now." So she fixed it while I was talking to her.
Oh, so that's
But
why
that
it's not
already,
here because I did
yes,
pick that up. Yeah.
you
Okay,
did.
she's
Yeah,
fixed
that
it.
was a good one. Yeah, she appreciated that. So sounds like we should just get rid of this recommendation.
Yes.
Okay with that?
Yeah.
All right. Community engagement section. I think the first one is a nice clarification, which was just an awkward wording. We're all okay with that one?
Yes.
All right. And then we get into the meteor section, the recommendations section. And this is overall comments that apply to all of the different recommendation areas that I pulled to the front. Any thoughts or questions on those?
On 6.2, I I guess maybe we want to clarify and standardize language relating to what we're calling a climate coordinator versus a sustainability manager. Yeah, I know that in some places with actors, they're describing climate coordinator. So are we content with that? Do we want to keep that, or
We
how do
we do hit that a little bit harder later on. This
yeah.
one was uh, reflecting that it seems like each of the recommendations section was likely written by a different person, and that different commission staff uh, perhaps adopted different language. Some said coordinator, some just said town administration. I noticed where they said climate coordinator, they didn't say town administration. So it seemed like it was a one or the other generally, and that needs to be clarified. Should we let me ask Roberta, as you talk through that, you bring up an interesting point. Should we mention cross-reference our recommendation later on for where was that? That was in the community section regarding climate coordinator. We could put um, a cross-reference to 11.3.
Maybe the point being that once we agree on language relating to that position, that the document is reviewed to see that it's mm, routine or
Yeah, that's a good way to say it.
yeah,
So that would be
uniform is the word I'm looking for.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so there are various places where they refer to a climate coordinator having some responsibility, but there isn't a climate coordinator yet, right?
So I was going to ask Shana a question on this, but I know I'm not supposed to ask questions, but I'm going to ask one anyway, which is in some cases they talk about town administration. Town administration could conceivably be other members of the town administration, not necessarily the person who we're talking about here as the climate coordinator. I don't, you know, I'm not
Hmm.
sure A and B are intended to be the same.
But it
Yeah,
could also be that it is the same, meaning that
It
who
could
does
be.
the climate coordinator report to?
Town administration.
Yeah. So it
I
is
can
a
see what you
function within
mean
the
though
town.
about town administration because it could, depending on where it's listed, maybe they mean like Rich because he's had some involvement in the
Hmm.
plan.
Hmm.
So maybe it's just not clear in general
Mhm.
what is it,
Well,
if it was intentional or not. Maybe it was unintentional, like you were saying, or maybe they did it with some kind of intention.
it does seem to me that they often will describe departments that are actors, health department or public work, so on and so forth. Town administration then to me strikes me as uh, the town manager.
Hmm.
Right.
That's how I would read it, yeah, whether that was their intent or not. Um,
Mm.
Okay, so while I was writing, you guys sounded like you had some good suggestions. So I didn't catch them. Um,
you don't want more broader, just a quick fix there. You want
oh
broader,
yeah, more broader is redundant, isn't it? A broader,
more better the other
yeah,
way.
and much more rounder. Yeah.
Yes, we
Yeah.
suggest this be standardized. I think
Yeah.
that's good. Yes.
So I've put in the reference down to the other discussion so that these weren't done in isolation. Does
So
that
will
look?
this, I'm sorry,
Yeah, proofread what I just wrote and see if it makes sense.
will what you're inserting come basically before there's any use of the term climate coordinator in these sections? It will, right?
So they use climate coordinator right from the start. I don't think they used sustainability manager anywhere. Um,
Okay. Hmm. Terminology used. Okay. Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot packed into the lists of actors, both the 2 points that are made here, both in terms of who's responsible versus involved, etc. And I would imagine the select board would be interested in the implications of some of that.
Mm,
So doing it in a standardized way that they're clear about what their method is for selecting actors and sequencing them is going to be important.
okay.
Right.
Um, Although
Strategies.
I was trying to avoid open-ended comments, I ended up with an open-ended comment on on open-ended strategies, just to set an overall suggestion here. If they go through,
Mhm.
there are specific areas where we have specific recommendations, but um, I thought it was probably over the top to try to go fully edit their document. So I just made this suggestion.
Mhm.
And I guess that kind of also plays into this one, the specificity of the action items
Yeah.
or the action steps.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's fine to point it out at this point in the document. It may be too late to really start revising these things,
I
but
know.
there's nothing wrong with pointing it out. They can take a look and say, maybe we can tweak this here and there.
Yeah. So I guess my one of the points I'm making for this meeting is that if we have something specific we want to try to fix, if we feel strongly enough about it, we ought to make a specific comment as well. Okay. With that, we move into buildings. And we have like a page and a half of good suggestions here. Whoops, starting with this one. So I guess maybe we just kind of go through page by page now.
Mm. Okay.
If I think this first one, I was trying to reword or
Yeah. This
summarize
is
what you had provided. Did I capture it properly?
Yeah, I mean it's like the what who is our I mean the town is our audience. There are businesses in the community. There are some federal funds that are still haven't sunset yet in terms of the but for residents there's no federal funding right now available. So I think that was kind of like making it I mean who knows I mean this is a living document so it can change, right? If the feds come back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it should be a 5 to 10 year document.
Yeah, I don't think it's smart for us to suggest that there may be federal incentives when we kind of know that there aren't any. So I think that at least you add for residents is a good clarification.
Okay, okay. Moving on. Next section. Again, I'll try to as much as we can show. So um, these three, and Olaf, feel free to jump in if you want to talk
Yeah.
about anything here.
I
7
don't
point, oh, sorry.
yeah, 7.2 I think that may be more like you, Roberta, right? Is that
Uh,
your comment or
no, but I
Let's see.
think it's a good recommendation.
Oh, I think I put that one in.
okay.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Yeah, this was this one seems so open-ended, page 35, that I mean it was to me it was especially egregious in terms of maybe I shouldn't use that word, but in terms of trying to understand what we were going to get to. So when I started thinking about how we were going to prioritize something like this, if all we're doing is compiling data and educating the community on the data, I'm like, well, is there something we can use this for?
Hmm.
And so what I was, um, if it was really to try to get the specialized code adopted, well, fine, but we already adopted it.
Hmm.
Um, to me, I would rather go into more details like, passive house and net zero
Hmm.
standard. That seems like a more efficient, use of our time and going in and trying to educate folks. They really don't want to get into the nitty-gritty of the code,
Yeah.
So could you go back to the
the document.
B2, yeah, B21. Uh you're actually kind of asking for a lot of change here, because they have all these actions about evaluating data and estimate possible energy reductions, educate the community. I mean, this is a whole package that they're suggesting, and I think your paragraph suggests just change it to educate the community on net zero building. So it's this is a big change,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Well,
Um,
do we, so maybe it's just me, but is there any value to educating the community on the stretch code and the opt-in specialized code? I was that just left me very empty.
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, sorry, Robert. One thing that I mean, the stretch code has options, right?
Right.
Are we interested in knowing what options people choose? All electric, fossil with solar compensation, things like that. Is that valuable to us to know that if somebody builds a house and it's subject to the code that we have adopted, do we need to know what people are actually end up doing? You know?
it's
That's the
valuable
question.
information. Yeah. What level of priority of doing that is and the time spent doing it. And
Yeah.
also, Eastham being a small town, you have like maybe 2 years at most of data, which how many houses get built in Eastham? So how
Yeah.
significant is it at this
Yeah.
point?
I don't know. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. It's a good
it,
question.
right. But I think maybe at this point, it's their document. They've created this large strategy. Maybe the thing that we suggest changing is just that third bullet uh, point about not necessarily sharing with the community the data, but more about the benefits of net zero building.
Hmm.
Or what was the other term you used?
Passive homes.
Right. So
Hmm.
be very specific about what we're suggesting we change, which would be the third bullet. Otherwise, you're kind of asking them to just totally revamp this strategy.
Mm,
Maybe we do
yeah,
want to do
yeah.
that, but I don't know at this point. It's a
Hmm.
final draft. So
That might be a much more succinct way to address this, um, and an easier way to put an end goal on the reason why we're collecting all this data.
Yeah.
I like that idea. Everybody good on that?
Hmm.
So I think let's
How would it
see.
read?
Maybe instead of going into all this,
More
we can be
beneficial to
very
educate.
specific. We can say, um, we recommend adding revising bullet number. What is that?
three,
Four,
three, I think. Oh,
three,
maybe. I don't know.
three. Yeah, action number three. Let's see. Okay. It's not going to work. I think I is Word trying to redo my. Oh, I see. So, what do you want to say? Educate the community on the benefits of passive home,
Right.
Net zero.
Net zero,
Oh,
net
net
zero,
zero, and passive house standards.
Passive house standards. Yes. Okay.
Net zero and passive house standards.
Oh, okay. The passive house and net zero. Do it that way. Now, do we need to mention under the codes?
I don't see why. They're a fait accompli.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
exactly my thought.
Yeah.
Okay. This provides, I think I got to say why. This provides a more definitive, I'm using terms from the business community, a more definitive end objective
Mm.
um, to this goal, since Eastham has already implemented the stretch and specialized code.
Adopted.
Oh yeah, okay.
We've opted in, right? That's the techno.
Yes, but the town meeting adopted it.
Oh, right.
Isn't it called the specialized stretch code? I'm just trying to
Called
figure out.
the specialized energy code, which supersedes the stretch code. But for clarification, you could put the stretch and
Right.
Okay. And I'm going to get rid of the rest of this, and I think that makes a much more succinct. I like that, Roberta. Thank you. It makes a much more succinct recommendation that I think is more likely to get adopted. All right, get it put in. Okay. Everyone go with that?
Mm-hmm.
Good recommendation. Okay.
one small thing I noticed under 7.3, that last sentence, we also recommend adding the building division to the list of actors. They use that term building division, but I don't think it's the building division. I think it's the building department.
Ah.
I don't know if we have a division.
Shane, is that building department?
It's the building division. It's under
Oh.
community development department.
Okay, so that is correct. I looked on the website and they referred to it as the building department, but I
Yeah,
guess
the commission initially had it listed as building department, but then when Paul reviewed it, he asked for all of them to be changed to building division.
good to know.
Okay. All right. Speaking of long recommendations, let's see, did we end up with this too long in 7.4?
Yeah, and this is one of mine. So, I'm just recognizing that electrification in and of itself is not a goal. It's decarbonization that is the goal, and I think that's an important distinction. In my book, the electrification is part of a strategy that is multi-stakeholder, that involves the grid, the states, the local communities, and individual residents. And so we can electrify, but we also need a cleaner grid, et cetera, et cetera. So the ultimate objective is decarbonization, and I think that's an important thing to emphasize here.
Mhm.
Do we want
Especially
to
given,
do we want to make this more what's the right word? A more specific suggestion, instead of saying we suggest rephrasing it as, we suggest rephrasing it.
yeah,
Two.
Two, yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of, for instance,
Yeah.
let's
yeah,
be very.
yeah.
Clear.
More
Yeah.
clear, yeah, more direct.
In fact, if I don't screw this up, I'll make it separate bullets.
Is bridge the gap even clear enough? I'm trying to remember the rest of the context for that. The meaning of bridging the gap.
Yeah, it's a good question. Is it net zero? Is that when we bridge the gap? The gap itself is also electrification in and of itself is difficult with rising energy prices, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of different gaps we could describe here. But I do know that the ultimate goal is decarbonization.
And this is suggesting a lot of change, of course, which is probably more than they will be able to undertake at this stage. We may want to pick and choose a bit here.
And be
Yeah,
very
either that
specific.
or yeah, since they have 1 week less to work this, um, yeah, I think we'd almost have to either remove things that are not as important to us or give them specific language we want to put in.
Right, right. Visual state efforts. Great.
I think the second bullet is important. I think it's important for to recognize that there's a partnership there, and that is a very key part of,
Mhm.
hey, if you electrifies your house, the state will clean up the grid, and combined, we will now have a cleaner energy infrastructure.
And they actually talk about that in the energy section, but it's missing up in here.
Hmm.
Do we want to provide suggested text for that so that they have something to work on with, as opposed to having them to think it up?
Let's see. So we're on
It's
page
always
36.
preferable if we can do it.
So here's 36. There's the bridge the gap. And then in the energy section, um, maybe we can just grab a. So where was that? Must be further down. um, Let me search for grid. Remember where that was all off?
I don't remember, because I caught it on the electrification, the previous one, in the buildings, but
I'm not finding it. Shoot.
uh,
Um,
What are you looking for, Tom, exactly? Oh,
uh,
there's,
the discussion on the grid.
okay. This is resilience versus microgrid.
yeah.
Microgrid. Um, hmm.
No, I see a lot of references to electrification. It's probably a word that is probably, if you did a word cloud, is probably the one that pops up the most, has the biggest font.
Hmm.
Uh,
Well, do we want to just get a, you want to give us a sentence, Olaf, and we'll just make that recommendation? We're going adding text. Okay. Give us a sentence here. Sorry to put you on the spot.
well, I mean, part of it is in there, the crucial role of state efforts in grid decarbonization, uh, which is aligned with or presumably aligned with residential electrification.
Yeah, we just need some words though. So I guess I had seen it in the municipal area. God, where the heck was that? Um, Municipal electrification. So I'll just put a note there that we'll find that so we don't hold everybody else up. And Olaf, maybe you and I can
Yeah,
text back and forth, and we'll get a sentence in there, a
yeah,
specific sentence.
yeah. And that's specifically with the on the buildings. Is that I think that's where I did the comment,
Yeah.
but
So I'm just
it
gonna put,
yeah.
yeah. So I'm gonna add sentence, sentence recommendation. Okay. Okay, so we'll take care of that.
Hmm.
What about this last one? I mean, we do have scattered throughout recommendations to
Yeah,
adopt
yeah,
renewable energy, and do
yeah.
we need that?
We don't need that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. All right. Okay. Other parts of this. I think these are all fairly straightforward. Oh, I need to. And any questions on those?
No.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
7.6 and 7.7 are the same. I think that 7.6 is specifically related to composting. So this one talks about um
Mhm.
oh, this one does not talk. Oh, so there's the difference. It doesn't include recycling. So it's like it's including recycling, but it's talking about composting. So I guess that's fine.
Yeah. I wonder, Shayna, if this is related to the fact that you need a sticker to get in to do the composting. I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
if that's related to it, where you can go
That
to a
is,
place where you don't need a sticker to drop off your compost.
Hmm.
Yeah, so let's see. 4.1 was wait, what page are we on? Page 38. 36, 37, 38. Was that one? So this was the let me double check here. So that was the third bullet. Oh, so yeah, anyway, this one here. I can't seem to highlight it. Feasibility of free composting for income eligible residents. And actually, I think this was, I can't remember if I came up with this or someone else also had it, but I was thinking to also encourage composting, not just for income eligible residents, but for everybody. So
Yeah, yeah.
question is, for folks that aren't here other than, typical tourists that come for a couple of weeks, you can't get in, drop your composting off. You can't drop off your recyclables. So the way this ended up being was the feasibility of either free or reduced, right? I know we had some suggestions earlier of maybe giving out some stickers to people when they got their beach sticker, maybe free for one entrance into the
Hmm.
transfer station or something.
Hmm.
Um, so that's what that was attempting um, to voice, and similar in this down here.
yeah. By the way, that is really an excellent idea, honestly.
I think it's good.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Kathy,
Because
let me ask you, in terms of part-time residents, do part-time residents typically have transfer station stickers? So I was
yeah,
debating whether this should be a
yes,
little
yes,
broader.
the answer is yes, they do typically because the challenge for part-time residents is for that portion of that population who have short-term rentals, right? Who rent their houses out.
Right.
You
Right.
know, so they have this sticker on their car to go to the dump, but their visitors don't, or someone who comes in for like a week doesn't
Mhm.
have that.
Yeah.
And because Jim's on the recycling committee, the challenge is how do you enforce recycling and composting with the garbage haulers. Right. So this might be an interesting approach.
Mhm.
Well, I guess
Right.
you can't enforce something like that, but you can encourage people who care about the environment. And if you
Or
make
you
it
could
easy
encourage,
for them,
but if
yeah,
if you gave them a one, the point
right.
that we were on, if you gave them that sticker and when they bet their beach sticker, they also get that, right? Or,
Yeah.
or maybe the residents, whether they're full-time or part-time residents who rent their homes a portion of the time could have that and make it available to their renters, for like, you give them a sticker for every week. I don't know. I'm making it up,
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
because a lot of full-time residents rent their houses too,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point.
actually.
Okay. We're good on that section. All right. I'll jump over to energy. Um, any
Oh,
thoughts,
here you go.
questions? You want to talk through any of these?
Provide insights to
And Shane, I'll point out this one, because I know town has already read this, town staff, but my concern was on page 44, it says it almost was written as if that $25,000 right here was a fait accompli, right, so to say.
Mhm.
Um, So I was wondering if maybe that should say historically $25,000 per year. I mean, there's no guarantee that that's going to be exactly 25 or even there at all in the future.
Right, exactly. Yep.
So maybe take out the 25K.
Well, I just said to say historically.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And okay. Okay.
Mhm.
And oh, Shane, is this okay with it seems like these two folks need to be there in emergency preparedness, the Barnstable County Committee. Do they have an active role with us? Seems like they're the ones that lead the
Yeah,
regional.
I thought it was a good suggestion. I don't think it hurts to at least ask and see if they would be interested in being included. And, I'm sure they have a lot of valuable input that they could provide. So,
Hmm. And how about the Nauset Regional School District? I don't know how that
yeah, I
facility
don't
works.
know. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how it's all organized, but it doesn't hurt to include them at least initially to see if it would be beneficial for them to be included.
Yeah, I mean they've got to go fix the heating system.
Yeah. So speaking of emergency preparedness.
Yeah, did you hear
Yeah.
about the reason for that?
No, I didn't. Actually, I didn't. I
So,
just heard that it wasn't there.
well, they kind of forgot to put the controls, HVAC controls, on the critical loads panel.
Mm,
The only thing on the critical loads panel that's powered by the generator is the boiler itself, but the
okay.
control system is not, and so it wasn't calling for heat. It's like, really?
Yeah.
Am I okay?
Well,
So
it
my
takes an emergency to figure that out, right?
Yeah, I guess.
so where's the lawsuit against the contractor?
So yeah, they got to come in and fix it, I guess.
I mean, that's not about fixing it. That's about, that's about failure,
Yeah, well, okay,
failure
that's
to
that's
deliver.
beyond And that, yeah, I don't
Mhm.
dispute you, but that's beyond this meeting anyway.
No, I know.
Um,
It's just my comment when I
yeah,
read that,
yeah,
boy.
no, yeah. So, let's jump to natural resources. And unfortunately, Eleni said she would be here today, but so these are mostly her areas. Yeah, Eleni's, I think she did all four of these. Um, so adding, so this is one area to make sure we're comfortable with, adding the committee as an actor, supporting actor for these four
Yes, this is
goals.
plan management plan.
I'm not sure what develop land management plans mean. What does that mean?
That's the land management plans for the town-owned conservation areas. It's a goal in the strategic plan, I
Hmm.
believe. So it's just
Hmm.
an ongoing
Oh, I
thing
see. As
for
a supporting actor, I see. I
Mhm.
now I understand what
Mhm.
it says. Okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're not suggesting changing these four, but just adding a
Yeah.
committee as a
Mhm.
support there. And this one was actually that. So in light of what we're saying today, which I think are all good suggestions that we got to be specific, um, measurement options. So
Mhm.
let's see, N2.2. And 2.2 is an example. I think um, in most goals there was a measurement, and then 2.2 and those other couple that she caught, there was no
Mm.
measurement. So I think that's what the recommendation is. Rather than giving them
Mhm.
a
Mhm.
measurement to put in there, they should recommend it.
Point out that
Mhm.
there is no measurement. Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. So should we, you want to word it that way? We note we note the absence of measurements.
Or you could say, what's there already, we suggest adding blah, blah, to be consistent with the use of the inclusion of those options for other actions.
Mhm.
Whoops, I can't spell. Other strategies.
Right.
Okay.
Chemicals adding to the second bullet. Okay. Why does that need to be added in strategy
Mm,
M
That's
1.2?
1.2. So 1.2
Not.
add to, I'm sorry for the back and forth. Just trying to triangulate here. So adding to the second bullet in 1.2. Okay.
Oh, wow. Really?
So this is increased native plantings. I guess she's recommending also adding decreased fertilizer and
Mhm.
and and decreased use of pesticides.
Hmm. So, so the second action is going to become benefits of native plantings, Cape Cod lawn, decreased fertilizer, decreased pesticides. Huh, it's a lot.
It's all under that heading.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Right.
I mean, we could add up more bullets.
I think a Cape Cod lawn is one that doesn't have pesticides and fertilizers. So
Hmm.
maybe that's why they're trying to encompass that in what
Mm.
a Cape Cod
Mhm.
lawn is.
What if we, let me just try something here on everyone. Let's see. So instead of adding, what if we say, um, changing, modifying the second action bullet. Oop. To there's an increased native plantings, decreased decreased fertilizers and decreased, well, I think we can combine it, fertilizers and pesticides.
Yeah.
For a Cape Cod lawn.
Yeah.
Something like that. Now that's a little bit more succinct.
Well, no, because you could also be using fertilizers and other things other than a lawn.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think
people
you need the
use,
Cape.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't even need the
Yeah.
Cape Cod lawn
yeah,
section in there. I
decrease
don't think.
fertilizers and pesticides, period.
Because it's unclear that people know what a Cape Cod lawn is. Reading.
Exactly. Right.
Okay.
Right.
I gotcha.
Yeah, and it's much more succinct this way. It's clearer. Increase plantings, decrease fertilizers and pesticides. Boom.
So we'll get rid of that.
Yep. Don't have to explain that they're harmful. Okay, good. Continue to advance wastewater solutions.
So I guess proper grammar should be something like this, and decrease fertilizers and pesticides, right? Because it's increased native plantings and decreased
Yes.
fertilizers and pesticides.
Benefits of, yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, and then this last one and 1.4, that's regarding wastewater solutions. So that was an extra bullet. And I actually threw that one in because I think there was financial assistance options to those that will be connecting to the municipal facility. And I remember discussions about also financial assistance to those that are they can't connect because the sewer is not coming into their street, but they're going to be mandated to add an IA system.
Now, question there, Tom. I thought that the reason why we're putting in a water treatment system is so that people are mandated to add an IA septic system.
Yes, but there's still the possibility for those in some sensitive watershed areas
Cesspools too, I think. Cesspools. Yeah.
that they may have to add an IA anyway, but they don't have the option to connect.
Yeah.
So I don't know, Shayna, do you think that's going too far? I mean,
Kind of. If it wasn't brought up, I mean, if it wasn't feedback that the commission received from the public when they were doing their outreach, I assume that either it came from the town or unless it came from the town at some point, that the town was considering offering the assistance, I could see adding that in, or if it came from the public.
That was in town meeting.
Well, at the capital projects committee is talking about helping to finance what they call it. There's a name for the pumps, but helping to finance grinder pumps for people who are in need of financial assistance. And I mean, there's a whole long conversation going on about grinder pumps.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it would be helpful to include something along those lines where just offering financial assistance to the increasing costs of wastewater for residents, whether it's grinder pumps or sewer connections or IA systems.
Oh, that's a
So
better
just-
way to say it.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
kind
because
of.
I guess I was triggering off of financial assistance to those connecting. Well, all right, they've already jumped into that. I wouldn't have put it in to begin with, but they've already jumped in and opened the topic. Why are we leaving the others out in the cold, right? To support those. So say that again, what you were thinking, Shayna? You said it so well, and I didn't write it down as you were saying it.
Oh, I was saying to explore offering the financial assistance for wastewater connections or wastewater related expenses,
Hmm.
um,
This-
including grinder pumps, sewer connections, IA systems.
Right.
Including um, wastewater connections, septic sewer connections.
Hmm.
I didn't word it very well, but
You could just put in and.
whoops. Okay. Um, I'm my mouse is too sensitive here, and IA systems for those.
But why don't you just not put the rest of it in?
Yeah, I'm wondering. It's getting kind
Hmm.
of. Do we need to put anything in here at all?
No, but why don't you just put a period after systems?
Yeah, and delete the rest.
Right.
Oh, I see. Okay, like that.
Because then we're not saying that somebody is mandated to do something. People may read this and say, "Oh shit, maybe I'm man. I don't know if I'm mandated to do this."
Okay.
No, it doesn't matter. This sentence is it's much more clear in terms of
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, I
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
So does this replace? I guess that replaces this third bullet. We're really rewording the third bullet.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Okay. This incorporates discussions at town meeting last year.
Hmm.
This reflects.
Flags. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I'll just put that up here. Okay. All right, much more succinct. Okay. Shall we move on?
Hmm.
Get there. Transportation. Mike had a lot of good suggestions. So the first one, um, page 55, we recommend incorporating the following language. So page 55 is here. So this would add words, I think, in the recommendation section. Striking a balance between promoting local goods and services to minimize this.
I do have an issue with that introductory paragraph. It is crucial to quantify transportation usage, such as shopping for groceries, pharmacy visits, and so on. I guess, is that stating that this is something that the town is going to attempt to do, and who will do that?
And
Yeah.
how? And how?
And I think he puts that in later in one of the recommendations. Let me just make sure I'm correct on that. So, because I think he has a good point in that. Yeah, here it is. So, in terms of figuring out actions to reduce vehicle model traveled, right, which is ultimately to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, you got to figure out where it's coming from because each strategy could be very different. So he's covered that in T1.1, right? So here it is, vehicle usage by residents, visitors, trips, etc. So do we really need to put it in the introductory paragraph is the question.
So I guess I didn't look back at the original draft. There's a suggestion to add this as a task or an action under transportation to do this
So
analysis.
so you're talking about this T11 or the
Mhm.
introductory paragraph? You're talking about T11?
Uh, the actual data evaluation.
So this
Addition,
part,
the studies and so on.
okay. Yeah, we can go to that right now if you want. So this is strategy T11, and I'll try to show them both at the same time here. Two, there's T11. So this is work with CCRTA, okay. Um, adding text to the strategy overview paragraph, which is this one. Adding this text.
Alternatively.
I think the recognition here is that this shouldn't be only CCRTA expansion, right? Because the COA provides transportation, for instance. And so I think it's coming back to me as I'm re as I'm
But
reading this.
he also says, and other providers.
Yeah, so the Chamber of Commerce is could potentially sponsor a beach shuttle bus. The COA sponsors
Yeah.
vans and whatnot. So I think the idea was to open that up um, to be more than just CCRTA. Is there a better way to say this? Is this too much words?
Hmm.
It's almost like
Or
they're two separate
Yeah.
strategies
Hmm.
Hmm. Well, actually,
because they're both good.
he did recommend adding another strategy. So I may have botched it up a little bit by trying to fit it into the one that I thought fit best. Because my concern was that I don't think the commission is going to be able to add another strategy at this point.
Nor do we know who the actors are in actually producing the studies.
I think what's missing is in the under the strategy, which is named work with the CCRTA and other providers to expand transit service. The description underneath it doesn't talk about other providers.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think I think what's missing is a sentence that or something added to that that incorporates the other providers portion of it.
Ooh, that's a good idea. What
Yes,
if
It says
what?
vans operated by the on Aging.
it says municipal or private van transportation that currently supplements could be expanded. So the paragraph as is all about the CCRTA, and he's saying alternatively, there are these other things that could be expanded. And the only way to know what to do is to gather data.
Well, what if? So I think we have two issues, right? One is what do we want the actions to read as, right? There's only two actions there right now. Um, but how do we expand the first paragraph
Well, he's got
without
some
adding too many
already.
words? And
Yeah, he's
I'm
got it.
thinking, Kathy, you had a good suggestion. What if we just say CCRTA and other providers such
Right.
as the COA serves Eastham?
Mhm.
Well, do they,
See,
it says,
the CCRTA also provides dial-a-ride, smart tide, and vans operated. I mean,
Oh, and
that's like not a, you know, those two things are two different things all jammed into the same sentence, right?
oh yeah, there it is. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
CCRTA does not do vans by the
right,
Mhm.
right,
all right.
right.
Yeah.
So
Good
yeah,
point.
that last end of the sentence is wrong. And vans operated because the vans are operated separately by the Council on Aging. Is that what you're saying?
Right. Right. I mean,
Yeah.
because it says CCRTA also provides all of those things. I mean, it's just awkward. It's just awkward English.
Yes, yeah. Okay. And then they throw in Peter Pan. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, so maybe we need to reword this. Let's see
Maybe
if
you
we
just take out the, maybe you just take out the vans operated by the Council of Aging and give them their own sentence.
yes, yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Vans operated by the Council of Aging and other private providers, blah, blah, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? That's it.
Mm. That's a good one.
Should I just say break into two sentences? Okay. Um, I'm not wording this right, but we want to say um, make the first sentence into two.
You could take, it has a good sentence, you know, under the action, right? Or something where it says, you know, municipal or private van transportation currently supplements CCRTA public transit options could be, I mean, you know, the currently, or already currently supplemented, right? Yeah. And I don't know if, I don't know enough to know if there are other providers in Eastham. Does anyone else provide van service for anything?
Hmm.
I mean, we don't have to give every example. I'm just saying you might want to be more inclusive to say and other private
Mm.
providers in
Yeah.
case there are some that we can't name right now.
Okay.
Sorry, I know I'm not supposed to say anything on these meetings.
Then you don't need four seniors.
There you go. Perfect.
Mhm. Hey Tom, I have a hard stop in 6 minutes, by the way. So I just I just wanted to do a
Is
time
there
check. Yeah.
okay, yeah, thanks. Okay, are we good with this? That kind of cleans this up,
Mm.
I think.
Then he's also talking about adding actions.
So now we get to the action section.
Oh boy.
So here's where he was getting to. We need to understand the mode of transportation before we can set up actions, and so he's suggesting um, traffic counts. Um,
Well, give it to the commission and let's have a discussion.
yeah,
This
yeah.
is very
Mm.
specific.
Hmm.
I think these are nice and specific. I think these are good. I
Mm.
worked them a little bit
Mm.
to reword them. All right, and then how about we clean this up a little bit that
Mm.
we don't need this because we state it below.
Hmm.
And then we repeat the same thing in terms of coming up with modes of
Hmm.
travel. Okay.
They're going to have a heart attack.
Well, they can say no.
They can say
Hmm.
no.
Well, they only had two actions in this, so that gives them gives us more to work with.
Yes, but it also is the question of who is actually going to do that, who is taking charge of that.
Yeah, I know. I know. Okay.
Okay.
Olaf, before we lose you, we're going to try to finish up for everybody quickly here because I don't want to go too late here. But is there something in the last 4 minutes that you want to hit on specifically?
No, not really.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll just keep rolling through this then.
Mhm.
Okay, so if we leave those new actions as is, let's see. So thought here, I know he mentioned, I asked him on that. This was because they're recommending e-bikes here and safety is a good point. Options to ensure the safety in their use.
My feeling on that is a very
Yeah.
useful, meaningful thing, but I just don't know whether it's about climate change.
I agree.
This is 2.2. I think the cue there was that make roads safer
Mhm.
and more functional for all road users. So they've already opened up that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Maybe we just add including safety of, let's see, adding an action, recommended options. Well, he's just adding an action there. There's space for an action. Because I mean, in essence, if it gets out of hand, we may see a reduction in the use of e-bike usage because of people just upset about e-bikes and people getting hurt. We don't want that.
Good point.
And it has come up in other venues and workshops and things like that and surveys
Yeah.
as an issue. So, and I think other towns are looking at it.
Yeah, we could ban it. So we don't want to do that. Public chargers.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, this is a good point where people spend time, beaches, overnight rentals, library, senior center, and then add the rec and beach department because we're talking beaches here.
Mhm.
And then this one was
The question on that though is if we're talking about the town doing this and chargers at locations where residents often beaches, yes, overnight rental, hospitality properties. Yeah, I mean that's public property.
yeah, this
Um,
says municipal and additional public chargers. So I think they mean public facing chargers there.
mhm.
And really, I did do a check. There was nowhere else that they talked about encouraging businesses like motels to add chargers. And I think the data shows it's one of the lowest here in East Ham. It's one of the lowest adoptions of EV chargers at motels. Now, if we want to encourage visitors to come here, we'd like them to bring their EVs. Or if EV users decide Cape doesn't have EV chargers, they may not come here at all.
Isn't the point to encourage businesses to, isn't that the point that you're on, is to encourage businesses to
Yep.
install EV chargers?
Mhm. So we could be more specific if you want. We didn't say by whom. Chargers. How about if I do this? Let's see if this works. So, such as beaches and community hubs.
And local businesses. maybe, local businesses.
And by,
Local businesses. I wouldn't even put such as, just, that's it.
Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to drop off, guys.
all right, very good.
I guess I struggle
Thanks,
a little
Barbara.
bit with that examine and propose expanding the number of propose. I mean, how can you propose electric vehicle chargers to local businesses? It's just so open-ended here. Examine expanding the number of electric vehicle. That's all very fine and good, but what
Maybe it's a
I don't
recommend.
understand what the action is precisely.
Maybe it's recommend,
Recommend
not expanding,
or
recommend,
encourage.
recommend, and yeah, that's a good, even better word.
Encourage, yeah. Okay.
Encourage, right.
Yeah.
And I think I like having rental in here is and motel. I guess that covers it. Overnight rental, hospitality, properties. Those are very prime. That has, I think, even more of an impact than shopping areas, especially since we don't have any major shopping areas in town.
Oh, we're, because Northeast Ham is a food desert.
Food desert, yeah. All right, zoning. And this was 3.2. This was zoning related to EV chargers. And I think it's, let's see, review and where was that? That is the goal, changing the title to, okay. Yeah, so review and update local zoning and bylaws related to EV chargers. The thought was to make that, I think he was thinking, let's be more specific. It's to encourage installing more public-facing EV chargers. That's all that was. And then a couple actions that help with that, because this was very bland strategy. So I wonder if this is in here, does that make,
Right.
yeah, is that overlapping with 3.1, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is,
Yep.
well, this is zoning and this is more overall support.
It's the two sub bullets that are duplicate, kind of duplicative. Right? If the top line is about zoning, the two sub bullets are the same thing as they were in 3.1.
About installing chargers, right? Incentivizing the installation of chargers.
Yeah, so what's the difference here? Let's see. This one is supporting deployment of chargers. So that would be the town increasing the chargers at public areas, and the other, I guess, would be outreach to businesses. So maybe that would clear that up. Maybe there's two goals here, and maybe that's one of the problems. So part of this is for the town to expand, consider expanding the number of chargers. Whoops. Darn. Sorry, every time I touch the mouse, it changes. At locations where, okay, period. That's the town. And then the next one, encourage businesses to expand. They don't have much. Expand the number of chargers.
Mm.
For public customers and public use, such as Say expand. Does that clean that up a bit?
Yes.
And then the second action is more zoning. So,
But the actions underneath it don't really go with, as Kathy was pointing out.
you're talking in these ones down here?
Yeah, so we've got
Yeah, I
zoning
know.
and then it's all about chargers and charger installations. So,
Does this cover it? So it's currently saying review and update local bylaws. So maybe we don't need these because we covered it up here, right? Yeah, this doesn't go with zoning. In fact, if we wanted to do this piece, that should be up in this one. It's not zoning, right? Rebates for installing level 2 EV chargers for their guests.
mm-hmm.
That goes up here if we want to keep it. And then that doesn't go in there.
We've already cut that idea.
Yeah. Which wording is better? Encourage, promote, and incentivize.
So,
Let me put them side by side.
I think the first one's better.
This one here?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
a little more precise.
Okay, so we'll get rid of that one. And then we've cleaned this one up. Do we want to change the title of this?
Review and update local zoning bylaws to encourage the installation of publicly. No. We just finished striking all the references to installing chargers under
Yeah.
this strategy.
Yeah.
So
we get rid of that.
I think that's toast.
Shayna.
Do you still have a quorum with Olaf leaving?
Uh-oh, you're right. We lost our quorum. Thank you. All right, we're done,
A
unfortunately.
fragile forum.
Okay. With that, we are done.
Kathy left.
Well, Kathy doesn't count a quorum.
Yeah, I know.
Suggest
I just noticed.
Suggest you send an email to members saying we got, you can, certainly watch what happened this evening. We got through most of this up to page whatever it is. And if you have any other comments, share them individually.
Well, I don't know if I can. That may go against open meeting law.
If people share it individually, then it's not a public meeting, isn't that right? It's just.
Yeah, but then I'm adding stuff to things that we didn't discuss.
I mean, I think it's good as it is. I mean, I went through the other ones and I mean, I don't.
Yeah,
I think if
didn't
the
see
Cape Cod
anything.
Commission had any questions or comments, they could always follow up.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, with that, I think we have to declare the meeting done. Thank you all. I think this really improves the document and our comments, and I will get this submitted.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Tom.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.